Yeah, let the big dog hunt. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Philly Pulse, your city's sports beat. I'm your host, Joe Staszak, my co-host, Michael Warren, Sean Lochner. How you doing, boys?
Hanging
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, I know upper left here isn't. We'll start with Phillies because we haven't started with Phillies yet. It's been all Eagles all the time, but John, they were 7-1. And they were 4-6 in their last 10 games. I think they're 2-6 in their last 8 games. They are now 9-7. They're behind the Mets. Mets are starting to get a little bit of momentum, but you're not happy with the way the Phillies have been playing ball. Just what you're seeing in terms of looks like the same old, same old.
Oh, yeah. There's too many outs in this lineup. It does. It feels like the same old, same old. I mean, like, all right, Brandon Marsh, he's struggling. He's had hit in April. Same BS. And then I think last night was a prime moment where there was all four outside. And
That was really
JT,
bad.
horrible. It was horrible. And JT, and again, I know he doesn't show his anger when it comes to that. I understand that part. It's an opportunity for Topper to come right out to maybe
He
spark
didn't move.
nothing. That's what came out afterwards, and they went to a commercial and then came back, and he's with the umpire, and all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, what's up? Did he have a conversation? No, a section of lights went out, and that's what they were concerned about. So I'm a little fired up about this season right now. I think they're going to be good, but I think it's going to be. I don't think they're going to the World Series.
You
They
wanted to see
need,
him have it. You wanted to see him throw a tantrum.
yeah, something. I didn't,
Sometimes it's
did you
needed,
see
and
the
that
pitch?
game was
Did you
over.
see the pitch? Yeah, but it was Micah. It
No,
was
that's my point. Is that's why he
uh,
should have. The game's
no,
over anyway. Go raise a stink. Get your
exactly.
guys fired up, maybe for tomorrow.
And there was a chance too. Like they were rallying. Like there was a rally, and this pitch was so outside. I mean, it was terrible.
Sure, you
And
complain about the umps, or you complain about the Phillies.
I'm complaining about a situation where every manager, every player, there is an opportunity in baseball where the manager comes out and defends their team when you have a shitty call like that from an umpire. And nothing was done. Nothing. And that was an opportunity that could have sparked a little more life. And all we kept on hearing about was from the very beginning of the season was there, it's different. Turner was out. He wasn't feeling well. He was a little hurt. And then Topper decided he was going to pinch hit him. And yeah, there's a sense of urgency. They're changing the lineup and blah, 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 blah. And there's too many outs. I now am at a point where it doesn't matter what you do to this lineup. There's always going to be too many outs. And they need a spark plug. They need something. They got to make a move. They
Well,
have
An
to do
Mike,
something.
outfielder.
Micah, let me ask you then, Micah. Do you
Yes.
think this team, knowing them pretty intimately, would that have caused an ignition somewhere to spark them if the manager came out and gave the umpire what for, or do you really need some tangible fire in that lineup?
Well, I think both can be true. I mean, I agree with Sean that you know what? I really didn't see that they weren't. I did not see any inkling that they were coming back, regardless. But you know what? Go out there and pitch a fit. Maybe it helps spark something for tomorrow. That's what I was thinking. Not that it was going to spark anything for that game. What was it? The seventh, eighth inning at that point, Sean? Something like that. It was late in the game,
Mhm.
and it was just kind of more like, we don't need this.
Yeah, you got to
Taiwan
do
pitched
somehow.
today. Please give us a little help here.
Yeah.
Here's what I will say about the Phillies, though, right now. April 15th, tax day. I don't even pay attention. So I look at it this way. I'm not paying attention to anyone in baseball's batting average. It is so early. You could be batting 90. Are you going to bat that the whole year? That guy better hope not. If somebody could be hitting 450, is that going to happen all year? No. I'm not even looking at that. I think I saw a graphic that Schwarber's tied for the NL lead in home runs.
Right.
I didn't even know or care. It's so early. Like, if I don't care about these things, why should I be overly concerned with how the Phillies or any team is doing right this second?
Sure.
Y-
And
You know,
again, yes, agreed. And to your point, Micah, Jason Stark came out and said there was an a huge amount of, I don't know what the number is. So a huge amount of players that typically hit anywhere from 285 or above that are way, way under like 230. So, yes, the season is early, but it's
You're
just,
not wrong to have concerns. I mean, first of all, that outfield
it's,
is a nightmare. I don't know what it is about us getting outfield. Now, granted, you lost Bryce Harper to first base, so that puts a little dent in things. But I don't know if you guys saw this or what you think about this. Might as well, perfect time to discuss it. The last 4 games at Lehigh, they have Justin Crawford playing left field. It's the only time he's ever played the field outside of like the up and coming All Stars game from like
Yeah,
Single A or something
yeah.
like that. But clearly, remember when they couldn't get Ryan Howard up because Tomei was blocking him at
Yeah.
first, and he's raking, absolutely raking in AAA, and everyone's like, "Have you tried him in the outfield?" They're like, "Yeah, we
Right.
tried. You can't do it."
who's blocking Crawford though? Like, why? Why move on the left?
Well, he's a
Him in
shortstop.
center. What?
I mean, isn't he a
No,
traditional?
Crawford's a center. Crawford was a center fielder. You're thinking of what's his name? Um, you're thinking of oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Um, uh,
Regardless, I don't care where they play him in the outfield. Get him to learn the outfield and bring him up tomorrow. He's 21. I know he's young.
he's
I know he's going to be rushed, but you know what? Atlanta seems to produce these guys every damn year. They lose these guys, and then like, every year there's some dude I never heard of that's pissing me off again. I hate the Braves so much. Um,
They're 5 and
Miller.
12. They're still
Aiden
good.
Miller is who I'm thinking of.
Let
Aiden
me,
Miller is your shortstop.
okay,
Your
okay,
outfielder is Justin Crawford. He's
okay,
your
we'll get him
center
up.
fielder.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Center,
my.
left, I don't care. They dropped a ball that cost them a game the other night because they couldn't communicate properly. That's got to be Rojas coming over and calling it.
It was Rojas's ball, and Rojas cannot hit major league pitching. So it's
Well, who was the other dude we had out there that was like absolutely stunning in the outfield? They tried, he just couldn't hit a lick. I'm trying to
oh,
remember his name. I mean, pick one, actually. Pick one. Sosa
guys,
can't do it.
guys, let me
Sorry.
ask you
I'm gonna
something.
run this in.
And this was my biggest complaint is they ran it back and we saw what they were last year. Why could we expect anything vastly different this year?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah. Shame on me for thinking a little bit different. Um, yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just baffled. I'm baffled of how these certain areas are. I don't know.
It seems
I'm
like a year-to-year thing. No, I agree with you.
and
And
it's
I have
and
a
I'm
bigger
thinking, I'm
problem with our seeming inability to develop young talent. I mean, even if
sure.
you think of, I mean,
We don't
yeah,
really,
we
they
hit
don't really do
Yeah.
Rollins,
a lot
Utley,
of that here.
Howard, hit him.
Yeah.
Hamels,
Now,
hit him.
I can't help but also think that maybe Middleton has told Dombrowski, like, we've had a shitty farm system for years, and I really need you to build this up. And I know what your MO is, and you're not going to do that until I tell you it's time. Maybe? I don't
Fine.
know.
But I mean,
Sure.
I look back. Do you guys remember there was a time when Brandon Duckworth was untouchable?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Don Brown was untouchable.
Pat Combs, untouchable.
Combs.
Tyler Green, untouchable.
Combs. Pat Combs.
Prospect means you've never done it. That's what
Right.
that means?
Ruffin.
Like potential. Yeah. And until you've
Yeah.
done it, you haven't done it. Doesn't mean squat.
Yeah.
No.
So,
So,
are we expecting? I mean, listen, the same team, this pretty much the same team got off to their best start in 119 years last year.
yeah.
So,
Well, do you think Wheeler's going to keep getting touched? I
no,
don't.
I
Do you
don't
think
think so.
Nolan could be a wild card
Nolan's
sometimes?
Nolan's
going
a
to
little bit of a wild card. Yeah.
he gives up the home runs. I mean,
Mm.
He gives
sure,
up.
K1's K1. Okay, Painter is going to be like a trade deadline move. You're going to have him up here, which will be great. Look, I think they're on their minor league system is on the right road of progression. I think they have really, really put in a good farm system, the right people to run it. But I don't know, man. I just some of these
Sean, I
players.
need some Painter and Crawford. I will be a very
When's the
happy
last
person.
when's the last farm guy to come up and make a real impact?
Well,
Stop Bone to get him in that
Well,
now.
Bone, I was going to say Bone, but everyone wanted
he's
to
not
trade
that
him last
popular
year.
right now.
No, but you look at something where it's like, okay, so all right, he's an
Okay, so
aggressive hitter.
Alec Bohm in the last 10 years? Like, give me, I'm not
Decent stock.
I can't think of one either. Like Ed Wade got run out of town, but he built that Hall of Fame infield.
You know what? The quick note on Ed Wade, because Pat Gillick got all the credit for that 2008 World Series team. He put the cherry on top. You don't think Ed Wade was getting calls about Chase Utley and Rollins and Howard and the farm system? And he said no. At a time when everyone was like, put us over the top.
Right.
And he said, I remember, we don't need new players. We need the players we have to play better. And I was like, that's not what I wanted to hear in 2005, 2006. That's not what anyone wanted to hear.
He was right.
But he was right. All the moves Ed Wade didn't make, Ed Wade deserves a ring.
Totally.
Gillick came right out and said, this is Ed Wade's team. He did. Well,
he added Lidge and
Blanton. It's team.
What did Lidge ever do?
What has Dombrowski done? Everybody that has been brought in has been pretty much Clintack's team.
Has been what, bud?
This is all Clintack's team. Dombrowski, all right, so you got Castellanos, right? Schwarber and Turner.
They're all store-bought. That's all store-bought. I'm fine. Exactly. The Phillies are very lucky. They have a market. They have the budget to do those things. There's really only maybe 6 teams, maybe 8 teams that can afford to do the things the Phillies do.
Totally right.
And this isn't football, so you can get away with it. There's no salary cap. But at a certain point, you need these homegrown guys. I mean, that's why I never understood why the Angels didn't trade Trout in his prime. They never made the playoffs with him. You're losing with him, you can lose without him, and your farm system stinks. You could replenish an entire farm system with that guy, and you're not winning with him. They had Ohtani and Trout, 1-0. I mean, nothing.
Can you believe that? Ohtani and Trout, they never budged. Why do you think Trout signed that $400 million contract when he did to stay there?
The weather's really nice. You're in Anaheim, which
no one F's with them, right? None of the media.
No one says a word. They have the Orange County Register is the only newspaper out there. No one cares. Even in LA, no one cares. It's a transient city. I've listened to LA sports radio. It's not the same as what you get in Philadelphia.
It is.
LA has a tough time. You think Anaheim? You ever been to Anaheim? Outside of Disneyland, there's nothing in Anaheim but a convention center. There's nothing. Don't unless you're taking the kids to Disneyland. There's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
Well, it's nice weather and nobody bothers you. He could probably walk into any McDonald's at any time in Anaheim and no one would have a clue.
No one would know who he is.
No one. Probably gets in fight with the manager. And
he's terrible.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny where it's like everybody, Trout, he'll come here. He's not coming here.
He only plays half the games anyway.
And I don't want him at this point. He's
injury prone, but at the same time, I don't think he
makes Kawhi Leonard look like the Iron Man. He plays like less than half the games. He's always hurt.
No.
All right, switch to
football. Look, I know it's early, but this team, they're pissing me off, Joe.
I can
understood, but when we did this podcast a week ago, we were singing a different tune, and we kind of warned about that. Well, because they were playing well. Yeah, and it was like, this is great.
What kind of leash does Topper have? I mean, I would have fired him after the Houston game.
You hate Topper.
You hate him. It's not personal.
But you know what? I go back to this. I think I mentioned this before. When Charlie Manuel first got here, no one was thinking, this guy's a genius. He could hardly speak, still can't, but whatever. I mean, he said out loud, I forget the pitcher hits in the NL sometimes. And we were like, what the hell did we get?
Jimmy Williams was the bench coach the one year, and it came out that he was pretty much running the show. But
then again, so all of a sudden, what happens? The Phillies can pitch and hit. Now, Charlie Manuel's a world champion and a genius. Exactly. Of all the 4 sports, the manager has the least impact on the field product. Absolutely. If you can pitch and hit, Staszak will be manager of the year. Mm-hmm. Seriously.
About it over the Minnesota Twins and coaching them to the World Series. I mean, come on.
Well, it's like I look at the bullpen, and you can argue about mismanaged this or should have gone righty left. If they can't pitch, I don't care who you put in there.
Like last year, the playoffs, their pitching fell apart. But their approach to hitting is kind of the same. Isn't that his job and the hitting coach's job to kind of? I don't want to hear these guys are set in their ways and they have already made it and they can't adjust.
Yeah, baseball players are set in their ways. I mean, I know you don't want to hear it. They are set in their ways. They are the craziest athletes. They are. They're just there. It's
So Bill Parcells, window or aisle? You're out of it. Which one do you want? You want the window or the aisle? I got a plane ticket for you. You're out of here. You're out. Bill Parcells, window or aisle, boys? Window or aisle? All right, let's
I think this
transition.
was very. It was really alarming the other night to watch Alec Boehm. Okay, he's got a 2-0 count. Okay, we know how aggressive Alec Boehm is. Gets a 2-0 count and gets a ball outside, and he freaking swings at it and pops it up. It's like,
Why does that surprise you?
Yeah.
what?
He's
Why
hot
does
and
that
cold, though.
surprise
He'll go
you?
on a streak where you're like, this guy's awesome. That's the frustrating part about a lot of these guys is they'll have these Castellanos is another one.
He's clutch.
Love him
He
or
does a
hate
lot of
him.
great things in the postseason and here and there, and then he goes in like a 19-game hitting slump.
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating.
And for what it's worth,
I got to transition to football, guys. We don't have a lot of time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
All right, let's talk Eagles.
All right.
TJ Watt, is he coming here?
no,
No.
I don't see it.
He's the
Wait, you
odds,
heard another rumor, Joe?
the odds have him as one of the. This is a landing spot for him.
Every free agent that comes up, let's admit, is tied to the Eagles, especially if it's a wide receiver.
does
For whatever
seem like
reason,
that.
we could have 10
He's
Hall of
actually
Famers, and they're
third
like,
behind the Cardinals and the Patriots are the number one team in terms of odds. Then it goes Cardinals and then Birds. I think he's going to end up signing with the Steelers. I think he's going to sign back there. But here he's making 28 a year, 28 million.
he's going to get
Miles
40
Garrett
plus.
just is making 40. He's going to want a new contract and be somewhere around 34, 35. Do you think the Eagles can afford that?
Not necessarily. I mean, I don't think they could afford.
Can they not
nor
afford
should they.
that? Because other than that, why not make the splash? I know they have other things to do coming up, but they haven't really done much in terms of any kind of really influx of talent. I mean, Howie said this is where the talent starts.
Well, Joe, let me ask you this. Are you really are you waiting for the Eagles' big splash?
Am I waiting for it? I'm not waiting for
I
it.
feel like you think it's coming. And I hate to break the news to you, but I don't think it is.
Okay. I think they're going to do something, sure.
But big?
Sure.
Really?
Don't put anything past Howie. I wouldn't be.
I wouldn't put anything past Howie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I feel different with this year. I don't I feel like this is a year of I don't know. But I think they'll be okay. Oh, I'm shocked. Oh,
Howie's like the Phillies. You keep expecting something different, and he does the same thing every year. He goes out and gets guys
And
who are like,
it's not like if you go back to 2004, they needed that high end receiver to get over the top. So they got Terrell Owens. They needed an edge rusher to replace Hugh Douglas in '04. They got Javon Curse. We don't have a roster with those kind of needs.
no,
we
don't.
which is why I mean this is my I wanted to spring this guy on you because I was listening this morning. And apparently, again, this is all mock drafts, but this is what this stuff is here for, to give us something to talk about. Like when Rolling Stone says the top 100 guitarists of all time. Those lists are made to be argued with, kind of like mocks. So, so one of the CBS mocks apparently has the Eagles taking Jalen Milroe in the second round.
I would love.
And I thought initially,
Milroe
initially I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. And I thought, you don't have any absolute dire needs. If he's sitting there and you like him, he's a project that if you get something out of him, I'm not replacing Jalen Hurts in the
not
least.
replacing Hurts.
But,
I
but
love Milroe as a backup.
you could turn him into a first round pick on someday.
I
You're going to turn
agree.
McKee into picks if you want.
I think he's going to be a lot better than people think. Milroe. He had some bad games, and I've seen him play lights out. I think he's like you said, a project. You see him without a shirt on running the 40?
He runs like a 4.3, doesn't he?
He's
Something like that.
fast as hell, and he's huge. Like I think he could do some things with his legs.
You could even use him now. Put him in the backfield with Saquon and Jalen. Have fun with that. I don't know. It's up to you. You figure it out. You're the offensive coordinator. You do something.
Right.
Make it happen. That's your
but
job.
Jalen was taken in the second round.
Jalen was taking a second.
But you, man.
But that's when I think Howie thought that Howie kind of maybe said this might not be going. This might be a train wreck. This Carson Wentz thing.
Yeah.
You know what, Joe? Yeah, absolutely. I think the writing also was on the wall. If you look back at it and you look back at Doug Peterson being like, during that COVID draft, you knew something was up. You knew they didn't feel.
I didn't have a problem with the Jalen pick. I thought it was extremely odd
I thought it was
because you
odd.
just gave Carson that big contract.
Right,
What did you learn between the contract and the draft?
right.
Like, did you learn
Well,
something new?
concussion
No,
against
I
us.
mean his worst year was after that draft. It was the year that he played right after that because then Jalen came in the Packers game and Wentz was like
2020.
the whole team was what were they 4-11-1 that year.
Mhm.
Remember he
And
barely beat the
supposedly
Bengals.
Carson's a turd as a teammate.
Yeah, I hear
Yeah,
that.
just
That's why Joe Santoliquito got buried for that. I said, "Do you think he's making this up? Do you really think Joe
mm,
Santoliquito and his minions and his colleagues are making these quotes up?" I thought
Well,
Micah, was
just
it
to,
you?
was
Was
that
it you the other day that said it, or was it you, Joe, that if if you weren't a part of Carson's Bible study, you weren't a part of Carson?
yeah, someone said that.
I
It
didn't say
wasn't
that.
me. It was
Okay,
who
it
did we
wasn't
have a
you.
guest
Okay.
on last week?
I forget who.
Mm-mm.
Maybe it was one of our
Week
guests that
week
said that.
before, I think then maybe was it Marcus? Was it Marcus?
I don't remember, but maybe
Well,
less.
no, I still believe it. He
Yeah.
seemed like if you did, or if you didn't hunt with him, because didn't Trent
Mhm.
Cole hunt with him and stuff like that?
He, he was a
I don't know. They
hunter.
both hunt.
I mean, he was buddy buddy with Zach Ertz. You don't hear about that buddy buddiness anymore.
Well, I don't think Darren Sproles is a huge fan.
No. No, but at the
Of
same time, I
Carson.
think Darren Sproles was trying to let you know, like, yo, he's not who everybody thinks he is.
He said Darren Sproles was on a podcast recently saying on his routes, he was the A1 target on the route, and he's like he would still go to Ertz. He's like, dude, I'm out here in the flat, like the play call was to me, and I was open, and he still would go to Ertz. He was like he didn't pay attention to coaching. He just seems like
You said this?
Sproles said that, and Sproles was the one that got in the dust up with him in 2017 when they were all hurt watching
Yeah.
the Super Bowl, and during that run, like Carson
Sproles
was
was,
pissy
and
about
he
it.
got pissed
It's not,
off that they were doing well.
Yes.
And
What a teammate.
Sproles was the
no,
one.
right?
Isn't that unbelievable? First of all, why would you voice that? You think you're going to get a lot of support from the guys that are seriously? They're
Man
going to be like,
down.
"Yeah, this is bullshit that we're winning." What?
Yeah. Man
Well,
down.
remember Donovan McNabb's mom got killed in 2006 during the Garcia run because she said it's bittersweet. And I was like, first of all, it's a dude's mom. And I understand where she's coming from. Yes, I love it. But would I love to see my son out there? It's your son. Sure. I mean, it's not the head coach saying it.
I love gay Jeff Garcia. He was great. Remember T.O.? Didn't T.O. kind of allude to the fact that he was tremendous here on
San
that drive?
Francisco.
What's that?
Yeah. I was in San Francisco.
He won
Yeah.
5 or 6 here. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Garcia was a tremendous run. Do you remember who he lost to? Who he eventually lost to? Because he won a playoff game against the Giants in
He beat the
overtime.
Giants and then he would have lost to,
It
was it the
stinks.
Saints?
Very good. And you know who caught one of those touchdown passes in that game?
Dante
Dante.
Stallworth?
Very nice. Very good. You guys are all right. That was 2006.
Oh,
So
that was the Scott Young game.
what's that, bud?
That was the Scott Young game. Remember the fourth down? They called him for a false start that was really kind of.
Yeah.
I've seen worse.
Oh my God, that was almost 20 years ago. Take the ball outside. Strike. Sorry.
Sean's not letting that one go. This is
No,
going to burn his
no,
ass for a while.
I'm not. I'm pissed.
And now just to
So,
put a bow on the Jalen Milroe thing, I did text this to my friend, former Eagles tight end Luther Broughton, who responded, "Shut the fuck up. I hate it." Okay.
hey, Milrow. I'm okay with Milrow. Now, Sean, so you don't think they're going to take a step back? Is that what you're saying? Do you think they're going to take a
I
step?
don't think they're going to take a step back. I think Howie pretty much told you, like, hey, it's not going to look like how it's been years past. Like, it's going to be different, but it's all going to come together. I mean, look, they're not going to come out and say, like, hey, this is going to be an off year. I think they're going to be competitive. I think they're going to be one of the top teams in the league. Um, However, I don't think you're going to see a splash unless trade deadline comes around and we're like, wow, we're all right, let's do it. I think that's where you possibly could see it. I don't I just feel like everybody's waiting, and
So
I feel like
when you say
I'm
competitive,
not. I'm happy with this roster as is. If
me
this is what
too,
you
but
had, you could live with it.
well, they have to
I don't know.
pull
I
the
just
cores
feel like every
together.
single episode, Joe comes on thinking like they're about to do something. Like, hey, what about TJ Watt? Who were we talking about last week?
Well,
Tyreek
in
Hill,
terms of them taking a step back, unless you win the Super Bowl, you've
you're
taken a
taking a
step
step
back, and
back,
the
right?
odds are that you won't. So anything's going to be
Odds
a
are you will
step.
not win the Super Bowl again. But I mean, if they make a run and they look like they are a team that could win the Super Bowl, because there are a lot of teams that look like that late and not they all can't win it. Or are you talking about a first round exit in a wild card game?
No, I don't see. I mean, yeah, I think they'll make the playoffs, Joe. From there, I don't know.
A lot of things have to happen. If Julio
Exactly.
Jones catches that ball, they don't win in 2017.
Right.
He catches that ball 49 times out of 50.
I
Who was
just
Like a
that?
don't
lot of little
see.
things have to go right. The
Oh,
Eagles could have
they
lost to the Packers or the Rams this year.
Yeah, I just don't see. I think their concentration is the draft. I really do. I think. I don't know. Howie just seems like the kind of person that loves when he does good and likes to set personal goals. And I think a personal goal is to be better at the draft. I really do.
He's been
And
great the
I
last
just,
4 years. He's been
He's
you
killed it the
can't get
last four
almost
yeah,
years.
better
he
than he's done in
has.
the
But
last 4 years.
before he didn't. So I
But
don't know.
everyone has their misses. I mean, obviously, Rager just that
Totally.
one, no one's forgetting that one. Sorry.
Wait, what's
It's
that?
I
just not
just don't
happening.
see a big move.
What?
I really don't. I don't see any big move.
Well, here's
Joe, I
there
hope
was
you're right, but
there's
I
one
don't see
move
it.
kind of on the table, and I wrote about this for heavy.com today, because all the draft nicks are talking about the Colts. Can they get Tyler Warren at 14? I don't see him slipping that far. Colston Loveland, maybe. If they can't get their tight end, why on earth would they not be talking to us about Goddard? The Eagles want to move him. We know
Mhm.
that. And Steichen came from the Eagles. Sirianni came from the Colts. Communication lines have to be open, and the Colts have a huge need.
I can see that.
What is the rush to get him out of here? He's got 1 more year.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I think he
That's
has
what
more
you-
value to this team than a fourth or fifth round
I
draft pick
agree.
when you already have a boatload of picks
Boatload of picks. That's why I think they're going to
the next
package
2 years.
something. They have draft capital to make a move if they want to.
Yes.
I think they have enough because a lot of these picks, these 20 picks, are in the first 4 rounds.
I hope you're right. I really do. I do, but I
I
don't
mean,
know. I just don't
Howie's
see it.
known for taking a big swing. You don't think the ego maybe gets in there and he wants to look? You get drunk on the accolades, you get drunk on the validation. I'm not saying he should do that.
I think he got drunk. I think he got drunk in 2018.
But, well, he kind of ran it back in 2018, didn't he?
Really? And I think he got drunk, and I think he realized like I need to be a little different.
Yeah, definitely. That team was aging quickly.
Totally. And then you had the Carson situation. Then you had that dead cap money. I mean, look, Howie did an amazing job and got us back to where we needed to be. I'll give him that. But that was the thing. Jeffrey was like, let's not go down that road again. Let's be a little bit smarter. So, me personally, I hope I'm wrong. I don't see a big move this year.
Well, here's it is.
Bottom
They
line, this
were
is the
one of the
best.
most talented teams I think we've all ever seen assemble. So I would think there's a bigger window to win multiple Super Bowls. I'm not saying a three-peat because we see how hard that is.
Yeah.
But there's a chance to go back to back with the talent they had, and I think they should try to capitalize on that, and not just say, well, yeah, we'll reload and we'll get better for a couple of years down the road. You don't know how Jalen, injuries or this, that, and the other thing. I think, and Saquon is,
Still
analytics
an
say
injury
he's on the
question to me.
downside. What's that?
He's still an injury question to me. He's coming off of a very heavy workload, and look at
And
running backs
analytically, at
historically.
27, you start going as a running back. That's why one of the reasons the Giants got rid of him.
Yeah.
Analytically, you start going down at that age, and he is an injury risk. So I'm just saying, just the window isn't going to be like, I don't think, like 7 years. I think they have an
So, are you
opportunity.
for the splash, Staszak?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Spending other people's
And
money
I'm
again.
for keeping Goddard for 1 year. I don't get why.
I
I
agree.
heard Sirianni it sounded like he's gone. It sounded like he's out the door.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I think is a mistake. Unless you have, I mean, how many guys come in as a rookie? You know what I've been hearing, and you guys probably isn't news. The guy who from Florida who got drafted by the Falcons, who was supposed to be a hybrid.
Kyle Pitts.
Thank you, Kyle Pitts.
That was maybe why we don't take tight ends 4 overall.
Right. But can Kyle Pitts play? Can he play in a different system? And if they went and got Kyle Pitts, would you take a shot with Kyle Pitts? I mean, he was the pass catcher coming out of college.
Because I also write about the Falcons for Heavy.com. I've been on this one too. Now the Falcons have about 5 draft picks, 2 are 7th rounders, so do with those what you will. Those are rookie free agents. They need picks. They have Kirk Cousins. That's probably happening sooner rather than later. Probably draft weekend. It could be the Saints because Derek Carr is now out for the season with a shoulder problem,
right?
And so that's a good opportunity to accrue some picks. Kyle Pitts could be a chance to accrue some picks. What would you really give up for Kyle Pitts? A 5. I mean, they probably want to be done with him. He just hasn't.
So fast for Kyle, I would pull that trigger and take a shot with him. He's a value guy. That's just the kind of guys they love here. The guys who haven't done it.
He doesn't have to be the focal point of the offense.
Right. So I've been hearing that. Can that gain some traction? Can that get legs?
It's possible. I think that the Falcons have a lot of holes, especially on defense. Mm-hmm. And with not a lot of draft picks, I think they might have to start selling some assets.
All right, well, Eagles have a ton of draft capital. So,
and you know what's odd? For as crappy as the Falcons have been, I shouldn't say that. They have their competitive years more with the Matt Ryan. Do you know how many since 2008 they've only had 2 general managers?
Really?
Usually teams it was Dimitrov for years and now Terry Fontenot. And usually teams that are middling shuffle too much. But that's a lot of stability for a team that's really done nothing.
Yeah, it's for mediocrity. It really is like only 2 GMs.
Do you believe that the Falcons, we think of them, they were one of the 3 teams that beat the Eagles last year? Unbelievable. Saquon. Woo!
Kirk Cousins.
I mean, how can you get mad at Saquon for if it was anybody else? If it was Rager, the town would have burned down.
I would have driven him back to New York at that point. I was so mad at him that night.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Good stuff, boys. Micah Warren, Sean Lochner. Tell us how we can find you or everyone else can find you on social media. Sean.
Sure thing. Philly Chiz, Instagram, X. I put this on Facebook for friends and family as well as LinkedIn. And then I throw it up on the Philly Pulse Facebook page as well as the X page.
Micah Warren.
I guess I should probably like that page. That's probably I just haven't been doing the Facebook.
Yeah,
actually, my favorite place to be found these days is Blue Sky. So it's at Micah Warren whatever B-Sky whatever stupid ending it is. It'll come up.
All right.
So I'm trying to get NFL chatter started on the Blue Sky, man.
I gotta do better posting on Blue Sky.
Why don't you start, seeing if you can ruffle some feathers about that outside pitch last night?
Here's the thing. I don't know if anybody saw my post last night, but I did ruffle some feathers. And from the Philly Pulse Twitter account, X account, I reached out to JD Vance because he fumbled the trophy. Did you see that?
Hell yeah, I saw that. I can't stand that guy.
Yeah, totally. So this is what I tweeted to him last night. I don't know if it's gonna help or.
I have a picture of his house on my phone. He lived a couple miles up the road from the girl I was dating in Alexandria. I should have egged it.
Come on. Well, basically, I pretty much told him to be a man and come on the show and talk about how he almost fumbled the trophy and how the running back had to save the day.
I admire your
I try hard.
He's very gracious in his invitations, isn't he?
Hey, go for it. Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot.
He's still messaging me.
That's true. That's true. He's going to be all over you, man. You're not going to. He's like crusty.
And his phone has tobacco spit all over it when he's.
Totally. But you know what, Bunny? If you are watching it right now, if you decide, maybe I'll send it to you personally. I mean, fuck it, just for free and let's fuck around.
If I didn't put Lenny posted.
Seriously, I mean, you really need $1,000. If you really need $1,000, maybe we'll have another conversation, Lenny.
He did lose a lot of money.
No, sure, but I mean, $1,000 more than he needs $1,000.
You can sell another car wash to Gretzky. Yeah. All right, we got to run, boys. Good stuff as always. Appreciate you watching, folks. You can find me on Twitter, X at Joe Staszak975, or on Instagram at Joe Staszak4799. For Sean Lochner, Micah Warren, I'm Joe Staszak. We'll see you again next week.